Electricast.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
The kids are still at practice, and I have no idea what's for dinner.
You can get a rotisserie chicken and 2 sides for just $15 in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Who said that? Who's in my house? Don't play with me, because I'm not the one.
It's just your friendly Walmart announcer. This is a commercial.
Oh, okay. You were saying dinner for a family was just $15?
Yep, it'll be at your door by the time you get the kids home from practice. Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Subject to availability, restrictions, and fees apply.
Now that was a helpful commercial.
Welcome to Missing the Point. Oh my gosh, we are doing more content for you. You're so welcome. You're a lucky bunch of boys and girls. We did a Sean Merriman interview this week, which went amazingly well. Shout out to Hollywood Ray for securing that interview and killing it on that show. Shout out to Lights Out Sean Merriman for coming on. He did an amazing job. He was one of our most, prominent but also wonderful guests.
Fun
great
fact,
interview.
I didn't know that about the tattoo. Did you?
No, that was super dope.
Right?
Really cool anecdotes. So anyway, that'll be in the show notes. Go listen to that, guys. We dropped a Check My Oil for this week's upcoming UFC pay-per-view, breaking down every single fight from the early prelims all the way to the main event. And a little betting help on that one if you wanted to, put your money where your mouth was. But I'm not putting your money anywhere. I'm just saying that's what I'm going to do. You want to tail it? But and then today, just me and Real BK talking about the Boston Celtics. They've played almost every game they're going to play this season. We're down to probably two choices of who. Yeah, we're down to probably 2 choices of who they can play in the playoffs, right? Considering we're playing the 7th seed, right? So we'll know by next Tuesday. Today's Thursday, that we're the 6th that we're recording. So we're not going to know until next week on who we're actually playing, but that leads me to a couple of things we're going to do today. So everybody that's here, here's what you're going to hear today. We're going to talk a little bit about Jaylen Brown's upcoming potential contract situation since he made an All-NBA team. We're going to talk about some of the comments he's made, but I'm going to ask Bobby for his season grades on each player. So we're going to do a grade of each season, and then that's to look backward. And then to look forward, we're going to look at who you want and don't want, if it matters. If it matters at all, maybe it doesn't for the first round, but who you want once that play-in tournament is decided on the 14th of April, and we figure out who the Celtics are going to be playing now that we've officially clinched the 2 seeds. So quick chat at the start, Bobby. Haven't talked to you since late March about this, when Jaylen Brown has since kind of come out and said, I don't know if I'm going to fucking stay here. I don't know. I mean, and I think everything we said about the KD stuff, the trade rumors he seems to always be involved in, the fact that I mean, this is what I've always said has pissed me off. The fact of the matter is, he would have been our Finals MVP had we won that Finals series, and then it took 2 weeks to talk about how easily the entire city of Boston would ship him out for a KD trade. Certain members of this parish said the same thing. I understand why you would be salivating for Kevin Durant, but Bobby, is Jaylen Brown right to be kind of snubbed at this point? And how big of a deal is it that he is? I mean, he's a member of the greatest scoring duo since Shaq and Kobe, statistically. So he's an underappreciated asset in the city of Boston, and I've been trying to ring this bell for a while, and I need everybody to get on this bandwagon because he's a large percent of the reason why we're so good. So is this ringing alarm bells in your head, or is he just saying stuff?
I think honestly he's just saying stuff. If I'm being
good, I feel better.
Honest.
All right, that's the end of the show, everybody. Thank you guys.
No, because because when it comes to the comments he said the other day to Sham, kind of made me feel better about the whole thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. At first, I was definitely freaking out a little bit, but I feel like he knows what their place in history really could be. And I don't know if maybe Tatum sat him down after he had those comments, because he specifically said, like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. He called Boston saying that some people take it personally. about like, when he plays bad
Said
games.
it's
and
not
shit, and
every
it's like,
fan, but it's some part of Celtics
which-
Nation or whatever it was that he said. Yeah.
I'm on Celtics Twitter. They definitely do. They do
Yeah.
attack Jaylen more than is anywhere near necessary. But I feel like he understands the place they could have in history, especially because it's the Celtics, right? So imagine Kobe and Shaq, but better. But it's the Celtics. So it's like, apples to apples when it comes to like the greatness of those two teams. So like they could go down as one of those best duos of all time, and there's no doubt about it. So he's got to know that at this point. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you like more of a meta question too? Like, if Jaylen Brown was here, could I reasonably make the point to him that success in the National Basketball Association over the last 20 years in what Bill Simmons calls the player empowerment era, what a lot of people call like the ring chasing era, what you'll hear Chuck and Shaq talk about, well, we did this and we never, I would make the argument that the most successful teams that we've seen in said era have been built and not bought. I mean, you're looking at a Boston Celtics team that was drafted, all of them. All of your best players were drafted. We made thank you again to Danny Ainge, and I don't want to hear anybody ever talk shit about him ever again to me. Now the team looks like they look, and it's a team that he basically built. But the crafty moves we made to draft Jason Tatum in the position that we did, and we're not sitting here with a Ben Simmons on our team. Because that's just a contract albatross at this point, like or a Markelle Fultz or someone along those lines. Like, yeah, there's been like top draft picks like De'Aaron Fox, they have kind of like made more over the last couple of years than maybe they did when they first came in the league. But Jason Tatum's one of the best draft picks of the last decade. Jaylen Brown, again, people at this parish were saying, let's just go get Jimmy. Let's trade everything. Let's go get Jimmy. I don't know how realistic that trade even really would have been, but I'm pretty glad Jaylen Brown's here. Robert Williams went healthy. These are all players we drafted, right? Marcus Smart.
I mean, even as much
people
as
complain about that.
Even Grant's a good draft pick.
Yeah, no, he's not. But fuck that guy. But honestly,
I was waiting for it.
All in, right? Giannis drafted by the Bucks. Joel Embiid drafted by the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
The Golden State Warriors built, right? Not bought, built, right? With the exception maybe of the 1 year that KD came, but they probably would have won the fucking championship that year anyway. The thing is, right? I think that there's something to be said for growing something and how different your fan base is going to be if those guys have been with you since the jump and you've watched them grow. And that's why I think a large majority of this Celtics Twitter that you're referring to that bitches about Jaylen Brown, I don't think you watch enough basketball, my friend. That would be my response to you. I don't think you watched him at Cal like I did. I don't think you watched him in his fucking rookie year like I did. I don't think you watched us get bounced out early from the playoffs the year before we drafted Tatum and in fucking when there was no chance of winning the series and I was watching Jaylen Brown be the only one still putting an effort in. I don't think you were there. I think you had turned over to fucking Will and Grace or whatever the fuck you normally do with your time. So at the very least, we can push that loud vocal minority out of the chat, right? We could convince some of that, couldn't we? Don't go anywhere, Jaylen. You'll have more success in a place that's yours. This is your vibe. This is your locker room. This is your culture here at this point. You're one of the top guys in one of the best basketball teams in the NBA. Like, why would you? And I just hope that voice is in his ear.
And I would also pitch to him, listen, who do you want to be when you're remembered for NBA history? Do you want to be Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter? These great scorers, these great athletic dudes who just couldn't be on that great team, couldn't win those games. Because listen, when you think back about those two guys, ultimately, yes, they were awesome, but their careers are kind of a disappointment. And also, they're so violently loved by guys our age because we were a certain age when we were watching them, right? Like T-Mac. Like, I didn't know human beings could do that was like my reaction to watching T-Mac play, My dad tells a story of being on like a business trip and he goes to the Toronto Raptors stadium with like a bunch of businessmen. And he's like, who's this Tracy McGrady guy? They've got a photo of him up and it's a guy looking up as someone's jumping over him. And the top of the photo is just Tracy McGrady's shoe because he's jumping clean over the guy. And I'm like, no, dude, he really can do that shit. Right. So
T-Mac and Vince Carter, like, vehemently adored by me and you, right? By guys that are in their early 30s now to mid 30s now, as we first sort of started watching that kind of era of basketball player. But are they going to go down in history? Because they're not going to be on the documentary about any great teams that won championships,
You know who does go down in history? Scottie Pippen.
Sure.
Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
Those
maybe
those
not fancy,
guys.
maybe not,
Right.
Yeah, I see your point.
When you rank the top 50 players of all time, right? So guys that ultimately you look at, they're better. So Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, I think, are two great examples. And Scottie Pippen. Those two are better basketball players than Scottie Pippen. They're more athletic. They can do more on the court.
I mean, I don't want to go down this road with you, but because like we could enter into a very like NBA style argument right now. Okay. But I know what you mean. I think raw ability,
right? They could do more on the court than Scottie Pippen could on any given night, right?
Except that Scottie Pippen did more on the court.
Well, because of the team. I feel like the team and what he's remembered in history is just ultimately higher on that list than those two guys. You know what I mean? And it just
but to your point, I mean, it's such a good point, honestly, because to your point, also Scottie Pippen's remembered in a very specific way. Like your sort of overall point, if I'm reading you correctly, is what you do now determines what the rest of your life is going to look like when it comes to like the NBA. Like in the NFL, you can go and get your bag on a team that doesn't win a championship or doesn't win a Super Bowl, right? And because there's 11 guys on either side of the ball plus a billion special teams players, it's not really your fault. Like it's like nobody's like, well, he didn't win a Super Bowl unless you're a quarterback, right? And that's a whole other conversation. But in the NBA, it's like, dude, it's you and four other guys are going out there to try and see who the best team is, like, and with some help, with some leg help, So you will get remembered across from your peers for what you really did and what you achieved. And part of that is deciding what you do with your career in the offseason and deciding where you go and where you or where you stay. And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I just think he's got his best chance of winning championships in Boston. Boston's a winning city. Like, what are you going to do? You want to go be the guy? That's fine. You can be the guy for 5 years in Charlotte, and you're going to have fucking butt kiss to show for it. I promise.
Agreed.
Now I got like mad at Jaylen by the end there. He hasn't actually left. I really do hope he gets the Supermax, by the way. I hope that his performance this season gets the payment that it deserves. I think we should extend him the 4 years or the 5. I think maybe we can do 5. I think it's 4 if he goes somewhere else. And I think we can do a 5-year extension, Supermax extension. I think now that he got all NBA, right? I don't know the ins and outs of it, but give him as many years and as much money as we possibly can and build this whole team around these two guys for the foreseeable, if you ask 100%. Me. All right. So we've talked about Jaylen Brown. We don't have to worry about that yet. We still got a playoff run to do. I got 2 quick questions for you before we start going through the season grades. And the first is, all right, 2 seed. It's clinched. It's official. We were in the 1 seed for quite some time, and we kind of blew a lead there, which is sort of a theme in some of the games that we have this season. But the Bucks are a very, very good team. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think I could be wrong, but I think we still have the second best record, right? If we win out.
Yes. Yep.
So we win out. We have the second best record over the Nuggets in the West. So there's only one team with a home court advantage on us, and it is the Bucks. I don't love a Game 7 in Milwaukee, but then in response, we go and we absolutely put a hurting on that ass in Milwaukee. But at the same time, can't do the same thing in Philadelphia. So are you worried about the drop to the second seed? I was hoping at one point this season that we were going to hit 60 wins, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Dude, is it a call to be nervous here?
So I don't know if it's the second seed that makes me nervous, because we were second seed last year. Without getting too much into it before we get into the grades and stuff, I just have it's a different vibe, man. It's just a different vibe than we had last year. I mean, I know last year at this point, me and you personally, after, we went out and whooped, I forget who the fuck it was, and we were going to play Brooklyn, and Tatum was like, we ain't run from no smoke. We ain't run.
We put a spank on them too.
Yeah, and we were
KD on the team and Kyrie on the team.
Well, but like even leading into it, remember, me and you were like 5-4, and it just had a vibe. This year doesn't have that vibe to me, and that's more what makes me worried. Is
but that vibe ended up in us not winning a championship.
That's
so, like,
true,
maybe...
right? So, right. I mean, I could be putting my foot in my ass here. So, I don't know. I just have a different vibe. That's what makes me worried. I actually am worried going into the playoffs this year. Not gonna
Well, let me put it to you this another way, from another angle. What if the reason we got to the finals last year was because of that vibe? It was because the team really believed in themselves and they played a little bit above how good they were. And what if this season we're actually playing a little bit below how good we are, and we have a little bit of a better record in the same seeding? I think that this might be a little bit more of a professional hit than a sloppy murder. I think that the teams that they don't beat for the most part are teams that we're not going to see in the playoffs. It's like, I know it seems like an obvious thing to say, but it's sort of true, right? So I know we didn't beat the Sixers the other day, but that took a Joel Embiid game of the year, and we didn't have Jaylen Brown on the floor. Yeah. So I'm not that worried about it, right? So I still think we fucking wax that ass every single time we see them, and every fucking
he was so good in that game.
No, he's unbelievable, and that when he was hitting that spot, like probably 4 feet away or 5 feet away from the basket, and he was just like pulling up in that spot every time, and he was getting space every time. I was like, this actually is low key sick to watch. I loved basketball in the fucking late 90s and early 2000s, and this is what a really good like Tim Duncan game looked like. This is what a really good like Dirk Nowitzki game looked like. I just Kevin Garnett. I just feel like I love a stretch big man having a game like that, to be honest with you. So I wasn't
stretch to the 18-foot.
Yeah, we never saw any of those guys stretch that.
Right.
That's stretch fucking Armstrong at this point, right? It's
not
the same
thing.
But
Pat Ewing would shoot a 15-foot jumper. He'd be like, "Whoa,
what are you doing?" And like it's not quite the same thing as watching Giannis like pull up from the very, very front of the 3-point line, and you're just like, oh, we know we have him now. If they're chasing this, like Joel Embiid, he actually can't operate everywhere. He's so good. I think that I'm not super worried about them. The one thing I would worry about, and I have this on my list to bring up, so I might as well bring it up now, is Tatum he's still having some quiet four quarters. And I haven't seen, and vibe wise maybe, or this or that, but I just haven't seen a ton of like, I'm fucking Jason Tatum, get out of my way. Like I've seen him do a lot as far as like accumulate points, and obviously he was in that MVP race for a while, but I don't know. Maybe it's the playoffs that brings that out in players. I don't know, but it just, when he goes quiet in the fourth, I'm like, come on, man, you're the guy. You got to be the guy.
Yeah, it has had that little bit more of a vibe this year where I don't. What worries me is I thought the All-Star game was going to bring that out in him, where he was the All-Star game and MVP.
Well, because he always takes that huge step up after the All-Star game, after the All-Star weekend. Yeah. And then this season, he was already sick and having a great season, so he kind of went the opposite way. Not really, but like he did sort of lose just a little bit of that momentum after that weekend. So,
but then he still has those 50-point games, like he had. Who are we playing? I don't know. It was like last Utah. Yeah, he dropped 52. Jaylen had like 40. So
also like, and I think that their chemistry's like kind of reached its nadir. Like like they're at a point where they're like, yeah, we can play together. Like we can. It's stupid to argue about this at this point. Yeah. And either one of them can go off, which I like, especially in a playoff scenario where it's like we need one of you two. But
what surprised me is that they're ranked top 3 in offensive efficiency, defense efficiency, and just overall offensive rating, which I got to say I'm surprised by. I don't know. I just my vibe is so different than it was last year, and I feel like it shouldn't be. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that what we got last year, and I know what you mean. I am like I am tapped into the same sort of vein of energy here. My chakras are aligned with yours. I just think that last year it was like they weren't supposed to be as good as they were in the second half of the season. So when you run up a hill that quickly and that aggressively and you win that many games, like you have to remember, like they lost so many fucking games in the first half of last season. Like they really could not get their shit together. So in order to have the record that we have last season, we had to win a ton of fucking games in the second half of the season. So you start to think that nobody can beat you and the team doesn't have any holes or any flaws, but they do, they do. I just will say, I would, other than the vibes, which I respect, I am feeling that way too. Other than the vibes being a little off, I'm not even making fun of you for that because I know what you mean. I'm
It's just
literally
different.
saying, like,
Yeah.
other than that, like, I think we're better than we were last year. So
There's
that.
specific people that are noticeably better than they were last year. You know what I mean? That are giving us. But there's also we'll get to it in a second. That's a pretty good segue. But there's also people who are a lot shittier than they were last year.
Okay, so
lot.
Grant Williams
shittier.
is a lot shittier. I agree, but also then you can't put him in a position to hemorrhage your fucking chances of winning a finals because he's getting more minutes than he should. Because going into the fucking playoffs who should be there and who shouldn't. I kind of wish we had tightened up the rotation a little bit more coming down the stretch here like we did last year. Maybe not as in such an extreme way as we did last year, but if we had to just tighten it up a little bit more this last couple of weeks, I don't know how much we would have really. I understand injuries. I understand load management. And we were going to talk about Rob Williams and the load management situation, but I'm just going to say one sentence on that, and that is your load has been managed, my friend. You better fucking stay healthy for the remainder of the fucking season now.
And he better be a fucking force in the playoffs, bro.
I'm
force.
not being a dick. It's 100% of you to help us try to win this, and I'm not going to blame you if it's not your fault. But it's 100% of you to help us try and win this. If you miss one fucking playoff game, I want to trade you. That's it. I want to trade you. We can't operate on our defensive front court relying this much on a guy that's available this little.
We talked about this with Ray. I talked about this with Ray last show, and it's inevitable at this point. You know what I mean? It's an absolute certainty that you're either going to be without Rob for most of the season, or you're going to be without the best Rob in the playoffs.
If he puts in 100% rating, like we thought that was the best version of him, no matter what happens, if he puts that in this playoff run and he stays healthy for every single game, I'm happy to fucking pay him to exist in this manner forever.
Without a doubt.
But you have to show me you can make it through a playoff series
and they got
a playoff run. I got to see it.
They just got to prepare for it too at this point, where we got to know going into the season that Rob's not going to be there for 60% of the games, and you got to have a better contingency plan than fucking Grant Williams and Mike Muscala coming off the bench. I'm sorry, you have to. You have to. Right, you have to.
I watched Kevin Garnett's corpse go out and play fucking 40 minutes for the fucking Brooklyn Nets.
Literally no knees. No knees.
Just like out there, but like when you're fucking the rubber runs off your tire and you're just on pure axle, like, and just your dad
looks at it and goes
anymore. And like we can't get fucking 20-something-year-old Rob Williams on the fucking court for a playoff run. Give me a fucking break. All right.
Yeah.
If I sound negative, it's just because I'm a Celtics fan. So last thing we're gonna do. We're going to do team grades. I'll give you the choice because I can't really decide what the better way to do it. Should I go top down, like who I think is best to worst? Or should I go the guy you forgot got a few minutes?
Let's start at the bottom of the bench and work up.
All right. I love it. Because I do think that there is some good conversations to be had.
Yeah, for sure.
With regards to, the Blake Griffins of the world, the players that I think really have contributed over the course of the 2022 to the 2023 season. So I'm going to do it by games played because I think that's probably makes the most sense, right?
I like it.
I'm going to start with J.D. Davidson because he has actually played 10 games. And rumor has it he might actually play tomorrow because all of our guards are hurt. So what do you think of J.D. Davidson? What do you think he's really brought to the table in the sort of few minutes? I know it's hard to really get a read on him, but because we'll see him in garbage time. I do like his hair, which could give you a little bit of a boost on the grade. But in context, how do you like having him as a shooting guard on our roster? He's a deep second round pick from Alabama, which is, I don't think they might be better known for football, just guessing. But
they were a 1 seed this year in the tournament.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. But I still think they're better known for football. But what do you think? I know he's a bit of a garbage time player. 7 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 4 minutes there. But what do you think? Grade him so far.
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy Nether Flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time, a Minecraft movie only in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely hasn't played much. Listen, I like J.D. Davidson. I was watching, I know you hate on Bleacher Report, but Bleacher Report pulled up his G League highlights from this year, and he's definitely got some game, bro. So
Yeah.
he's a project. He's definitely raw, but I think he's got. I'll give him an incomplete from this year.
Okay.
I don't think I really give him a grade.
Fair enough.
But he definitely has a future with this team, I think, especially if the trends from the guard position continue.
I was going to say he fits the mold. He definitely fits the mold, and I think you can, if you keep him here inside the culture, I think you could actually get some decent productivity out of him down the stretch. All right, Moose, late season addition, Mike Muscala, hasn't seen maybe as many minutes as I might have thought he was going to see. He's averaging a decent tick, but
14?
He hasn't played
Not
that
bad.
many games. Yeah, but he hasn't played that many games, so his minutes per game are going to be a little skewed one way or the other. So I wonder. I liked him. Coming in, but I think maybe. Do you think maybe too little, too late on the addition to have him be a viable playoff rotation guy at this point? I'd rather see him out there than Grant at this point, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I just see
I
him
still
as
like having him on the team, but what do you think?
I see him as the Tice of last year, but I like him better. You know what
He's
I mean?
Definitely better than Tice.
That's the role he's playing, though, where it's like he's gonna be playing those. If Al gets in foul trouble, if Rob gets in foul trouble,
I hope he's not the Tice of this year, because damn, Tice was bad in the fucking playoffs.
Oh, he was so bad, bro, so bad. Even Al was looking at him like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
What was he doing out there?
I'll give him a B, because I do think he brought valuable minutes to this team down the stretch, and I think he is going to be someone who's going to hit a couple big threes in the playoffs. I think he's going to be one of those guys where you see him in the corner, you're going to be like, Moose, and I'll give him a B.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fair. We're probably going to have more to say about him than the next guy, Justin Jackson, small forward. I think people thought he was going to be better than he was when he came into the league. Obviously he hasn't done like a ton on the C's, and I would accept another incomplete if you're going to give another incomplete.
Yeah, he's an incomplete for sure. Did we who do we get him from? Oh, he's from Phoenix. Okay. Yeah. No, definitely incomplete though. Sorry.
Yeah. I think that's there's nothing to really say about him. As much as he's actually played more games than Muscala, he's averaging like 3 minutes a game. So like, what do you even know about it? Noah Vonleh. I do think he contributed across the first few games. But I do remember very specifically saying to you, it's really important that Noah Vonleh is not our option at this point of the rotation. And we've definitely seen, I think, less and less of him as time has gone on. I think that the coaching staff likes other players a little bit better for those few minutes, table scraps that we can really give. What do you got? What do you got for Noah? Poor Noah.
I think we can give him a C, just based off the fact that what you said at the beginning of the season.
He was
exactly
like the only
what played
option,
out.
and he did okay.
Yeah, but like there was a moment where literally me and you had the conversation, like if Noah Vonleh is a piece.
I think I literally said like
we're
if he's
in
still
trouble.
if he's still playing in like December, I think we're in trouble.
So for that, because he fit right into our mold that we knew he was going to. He didn't disappoint us, and he doesn't play anymore.
Yeah,
so we'll give him a C minus.
Okay, cool. Funny enough, next on the games played list, because he's played fucking barely any, even though he should be one of the better guys that we're talking about, is Robert Williams. Now, we did just dedicate a whole section to Robert Williams, but I would love to know what your letter grade is for him, and then take into account the fact that maybe it's not up to him that he hasn't seen the court, but I mean, it is, what's your NBA teammate grade if you're not playing any games?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's I don't even want to say it incomplete. When you got
he's about to be a playoff starter, Bobby.
You got
so
a grade.
You're gonna have to give him a break. You're gonna have
so
to give
remember
him a grade.
remember when you got a grade in college, in high school, where it's
Pass,
like
fail?
you missed too many assignments, but they like gave you a chance and you could make up work later, and they give you like an incomplete.
No,
but
no one ever gave me that chance.
later.
They always just gave me an F.
Yeah. All right, fine. I'll give him a fucking F. I'm annoyed at Robert Williams. I am annoyed. I'm just annoyed that like.
Okay, but the semester's not over on that front, right? Because he could get an A in the playoffs, and he'd average
his
C
final.
for the year.
So it's like college. Your final is 80% of your overall grade. Going into it, you're not doing great, but you still have a chance.
You can
so
still
better
pull it
fucking study,
around.
Robert. You better fucking study.
Mr. Williams, you can still pull it around, and frankly, you're late to every class this year, and it's not helping, Time Lord. Okay,
he was late to his press conference.
I know
his introductory.
That's where you get the nickname. Blake Griffin, and quite frankly, I'm giving Blake Griffin an A. Just right off the bat, because he's done so much more than like I ever thought he was going to on this team.
I also give him an A just specifically for that Sixers game where
For the headbutt.
He called out Doc for giving him space, and he was like, I don't know about
the
Doc,
Sixers game. Yeah. I was thinking of the Milwaukee game where little Antetokounmpo tried to like headbutt him and he laughed at him. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, calling out Doc was good. I think that it takes a lot to be as good as Blake Griffin was, and then decide that you're going to be a really solid example of a role player in a good team. But I think Blake Griffin's still trying to win a fucking chip, bro. And I think that if he contributes on this and he goes and gets his fucking ring in Boston, I think good for him. I think he get him a ring, fucking write his name on it. Shit, I don't know how many fucking he might be Scalabriniing his way through these playoffs. If he's not, we might have bigger problems to talk about anyway. So I don't know how much credit we can really give to Blake Griffin, but glad he's here. Your boy Payton Pritchard. I mean, I've turned on him completely. Payton Pritchard, you are just not good enough to be throwing spanners in the works in the middle of the season about your minutes and bitching about wanting to play all the time. Like, really? Like, we're trying to win a fucking championship here, and we want to see headlines. Payton Pritchard says this, Payton Pritchard says that. I'm sorry, man, but I watched you get absolutely butchered on every single switch in the last playoff series I watched you play. Like, you were an absolute fucking liability in the playoffs, and you're going to come out here and start demanding minutes. We're going to start building rotations around you in the regular season when we have the players we have. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I mean, I think he's a fun player. I think he's got a good shot. I think it is a little unfair to ask a player like him to be consistently good without minutes. I think that he needs rhythm. I think that but I also think that LeBron James at 22 doesn't exist anymore. And that's where the Payton Pritchards of the world used to get their minutes. Like, he needs Mo Williams minutes somewhere. Right. Where if he wants to be in the fucking playoffs with somebody, you better have one sick fucking player on your team, because it's not you. Like, you need Kyle Korver minutes somewhere, my friend. And honestly, you're not going to get those in Boston. Like, we built a whole ass team here. So sorry to go on a Payton Pritchard rant. I know you're the one giving out the grades, but fuck that guy at this point.
Yeah, no, I don't want to say I'm with you, but his way of basketball doesn't fit with this team anymore. There was a point in time before we had Brogdon that he did where we actually needed a shooter to come off the bench hot and provide us. But
with look at the difference.
A couple threes in a row, bro. It's not even right. It's night and day, bro. Yeah. And I love Payton Pritchard. He's 100% out of here this offseason. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he becomes a starter. Or a high level role player in the NBA
Charlotte
for sure.
Hornets would love to have him. I'm sure
that's exactly where he belongs.
I'm sure that the New Orleans Pelicans would actually. They got that one guard,
Alvarado. Alvarado, I fucking love Alvarado.
So quick, yeah. Just like defensive hustle plays, like Marcus Smart circa, like sophomore year. I love it. Okay, yeah. I'm not spending too much time Payton Pritchard because we got to move on because Marcus Smart is the next guy we're talking about. I think people have finally sort of come around on the fact that Jaylen and Jason aren't as good if Marcus Smart isn't out there. I think that he's making a lot better decisions than from a few years ago, but still even better decisions from last year about when he takes shots. I think his shooting's good. I don't mind as much when he takes threes, especially if he's open. He's still a good defensive player, even though obviously he's scaled that back a little bit, and we have as a team. I'm interested to know what your grade for Marcus Smart is and what it would have been last year, and if it's changed or if he's just sort of been the steadiest anchor on this thing.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time, and the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
I gotta be careful with this because, listen, I love Marcus. I do. I think the squad was better when Brogdon was in that starting lineup.
Okay, so hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just have to say, I agree, and I was gonna bring that up in the Mazzulla conversation because he gets a grade in this too. And I think that his choices in certain rotations are the problem because you can't get mad at Marcus Smart for how good Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon have been this year. You can't, like, that's not Marcus Smart's fault. You know what I mean? I still think, like, one-on-one, if we come up against any sort of shooting guard that can, like, really scorch us, we're going to be really, really glad Marcus Smart's on the team. Like,
Yeah.
What kind of series is Drew Holiday going to be having? And, like, is it going to be different if Marcus Smart is out there guarding him, kind of a thing? I don't think, I know what you're going to say, and I just don't know if it's fair to beat Marcus with the stick of the fact that Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon are categorically better offensive point guards, but he's never been that guy. So
I also think that he has been less than, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. He's been underwhelming since he came back.
But that's why I asked. But he's compared to that. Has he really been doing that much differently?
Yeah. I mean, he last year, I feel like, I mean, maybe it's because he had to. He was forced into that role to be that defensive stopper every night. He had to be the vibe. Yeah. He had right. So it is definitely a different situation. It's definitely a different situation than last year. I
also think maybe Ime and him were a little bit more simpatico than maybe him and Mazzulla are.
I honestly think so. This is kind of, I want to go back to the vibes that we talked about. I feel like those vibes,
show, baby. It's the vibes.
Are specifically about Smart, if I'm being honest, because when Smart is smart, this team has such a fuck you to them. They did that at the end of last year, and it feeds off of him, and everyone absorbs.
You think because he's not going to be the guy, he doesn't care as much?
I just don't think it's the fire doesn't feel like it's there. I mean, granted, the playoffs may change that. It's very, very possible, but like I the days of Marcus Smart drawing that charge against Harden at the end of those games, things like that. We haven't seen any of those moments.
Do we need to ask
we haven't seen any
of him anymore? Do we need to ask that of him anymore? Like we talked about, like,
that's the
for me,
catch-22.
I know what you mean, but I just don't know if Marcus is playing that differently. I just think the team is playing that differently. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think that we do shit differently than we did when he was, like you were saying, the focal point of a lot of, like, what got us going, and there was, like, a couple of years there, Bobby, where he was like the senior guy, like after the post Kyrie, sort of like even post Kemba time, where like he's just like kind of the oldest, and it took a little bit for him to like hand the reins off to Jaylen and Jason, but a lot of that was because they weren't 100% ready to be the leaders in the locker room, and he was, and I just think we're gonna need him, man. I think we're gonna need 100%. Like good Marcus Smart performances to win actual playoff games. Like, I still think he's that dude. So I hope you're wrong.
So here's a question for you. This is more about Smart too. Is it that we just don't see him on offense as much down the stretch because we have Brogdon and White running the offensive part of our, the point, the two, and we don't see him make that impact on offense. So we don't necessarily look for him to make that impact on defense.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, our eyes aren't actually on him.
It's a perspective issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like a shift in the camera. I think that when everybody starts playing really hard defense in 2 weeks, I think that you're going to be like, oh yeah. Like, I think that's
our boys back.
Of it.
Okay.
I also think that okay, look, you know me, like, I think you're more inclined to like a Marcus Smart type guard than I am. I think I'm more inclined to like a Derek White type guard. I think that, like, when I watch Derek White play, like, I just really like his game. I really like that, a lot of the stuff that Ray said about him before he came here was very true. You can't slow him down. He moves at his exact own pace. He's super aware of the clock. I really like when the ball's in his hands. From a purely offensive point of view, I really probably prefer Malcolm Brogdon to have the ball in his hands over Marcus Smart, because I just think that the way he finds lanes, the way that he's able to like sort of see the way defenses are set up, like, he just has this like playmaking IQ that, like, he can score if he needs to. He can, like, he's just like that kind of point guard. He's probably your exact kind of
his
point
dribble
guard,
drive
right?
kick, man. His dribble drive kick
like,
gives
I
me
genuinely
boners.
like love watching Malcolm Brogdon play basketball. It's like one of my favorite things. Him and Derek White. But yeah. I'm hesitant to sort of turn my back on Marcus in any way, just because he's been asked to do less, and that's what we were asking for.
That is what we were asking for
years. Marcus shouldn't be the guy having to do that. Blah 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 blah. That doesn't mean that he shouldn't be here, but I hope that your theory is proven incorrect, that he is going to down tools because he's not the dude or something, or he's not going to try as hard because he's not as focal of a point of this team. I think that I think that if we win a championship this year, our previous years are also going to count for shit, and I think he's a big part of that. And I think he'll still be a big part of the playoff run. But we got to move on. Al Horford, same question. I mean, hopefully a different answer. Just got to love Al Horford, right? So glad he's here. Can't believe it.
I love Al. I give Al an A, and he'll get an A until he leaves
what'd you
Boston.
give Marcus, by the way?
I say B minus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to say he was bad. What about you?
Probably like a B plus.
Yeah, I don't want to say he was
we're
bad,
in like
but he wasn't great.
But like White, not to spoiler alert, but like White and Brogdon are both A pluses for me. So
yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Well, there's no argument, right? There's such good pickups. But I think, Al, I think steady Eddie, good leader, always the first one off the bench to celebrate when cool shit happens. He's happy to be there. I think it's a good fit. I don't know if his shots, I would have to look at the percentages. I don't know if his shots are falling at quite the clip that they were falling at last season, but I still think he can hit you a big three in an open space. What's your grade for him?
I mean, Al's an A. Like I said, Al's an A. He'll always be an A because of what he brings to this squad. Without Al, man, Jason and Jaylen don't get over that hump that they got over. And I 100% believe
Uncle
that.
Al.
Without Al, that doesn't happen.
Uncle Al needed him for the vibes, Bobby.
We're all about the vibes, bro.
We're all about the vibes,
always.
bro. I brought my
Always
Carhartt
about the
beanie
vibes, bro. You are. That's funny. You are wearing
Jaylen Brown.
For all the listeners, he is actually wearing a Carhartt beanie. Just
if you're on the YouTubes, you can see it.
That's true.
It's Jaylen Brown. We had a whole Jaylen Brown conversation already, but performance-wise, masked Jaylen included. What do you got?
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
A plus. Jaylen's been unreal this year.
He's been great. He's been great. I think he deserved a higher spot in the All NBA teams, but I think he's been great.
Yeah, he's definitely getting at least second team, you'd think, right?
I think isn't it already decided? Didn't he make?
I don't know if it's decided yet.
Team All NBA? I thought that or at least they were saying that he was probably going to make third team All NBA. But yeah, A plus for me as well. I'd put him on the second team, but
he went up a level, right? He went up a level this year. This has been a different Jaylen to where
absolutely.
It used to be he would score 20 consistently and have breakouts at 30. Now he's scoring 28 to 30 consistently and having breakouts to go up to 40.
I mean, he's matching Tatum on certain nights. If he was Robin to Tatum's Batman, he's now Nightwing. He's just a slightly cooler Robin in better attire. Okay. I'm going to go up one more on the list to Luke Cornett. He does that thing where he jumps straight up in the air when guys are taking shots. I don't know what grade that gets you. I hate when he's on the floor. So what do you got?
I'll give him a C.
He's played 67 games for this.
Yeah, he definitely played a role, and he played important minutes that we definitely needed him. I fucking hated with a passion that jumping thing. I thought it was the stupidest.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be associated with the conversation. It's the kind of conversation you have about middling to shitty teams, and I just didn't want to be.
It's the kind of stuff that guy with the goggles and the shorts that are way too tight at the wide does. You know what I mean?
Says it works, but everybody knows that it's not a real thing in basketball. And it's just like there happens to be a coincidence happening right now, but it's not going to last because that's not a thing. And any shooter will tell you it's not a thing. So let's stop talking about it. C works. C minus. C minus works for me too. I don't want to see him in the playoffs.
Almost a D, like a 70. 70.
See me. underline.
Right.
Got a few of those in my time. Malcolm Brogdon we already talked about, but I already told you my grade for him is an A plus, so just give me your letter grade for him.
Yeah, A plus. I think he should be he's a runaway sixth man of the year, right? I mean, I think
we all said he was gonna be sixth man of the year. I think that was like pretty much decided, but I just love when he's on the court.
He's just exactly what this team needed, man.
Yeah.
And I genuinely hope
this goes to show. I think Gallinari was too, though. I do think that it would have been really cool.
Can you imagine if Gallinari was on this team? I think about that all the time.
Because like that would have they would
All the
basically
time.
he would have gotten like the minutes that Sam Hauser got, and it just would have been like so much better. You know what I mean? Like it would have been so much better. But it's cool. Speaking of Sam Hauser, there's a transition for you. He's played more games than a couple other guys, but what do you got for Sam Hauser?
B-. He's had his moments. He had that shot against Milwaukee, which was fucking dope.
Yeah.
You know, he's a lot like, who's the Heat guy? Strus. He reminds me a lot of Strus. I feel
he
like
might be able to catch fire on a shooting run in the playoffs. It could happen.
There could be a game against whoever we play, whether it be Miami, whether it be
where he wins us a game.
The Nets, where he
4 threes.
Right, 14, 16 points. Has some threes. Yeah, I agree. So I'll give him a B-.
Sam Hauser coming out of nowhere with another 3. I can hear it. I can see it. It could happen.
Bang, bang.
And look
Mike
where
Breen.
he's coming from.
I can't wait.
Sam
I can't wait,
Hauser.
for Mike Breen.
I'm so looking forward to the playoffs. Okay, Sam Hauser, fine. I'll agree with that. Derek White, we already talked about as an A+. Jason Tatum,
let's not.
A+.
I know we're running a lot, but let's not blow by Derek White here, okay?
Well, we did. We already did a whole Derek White section.
Yeah, but
we can talk about him some more. I don't care.
Yeah, let's talk about our boy D White, because
I love him to bits.
Me and you both
Hmm.
going into the playoffs, we're sold on Derek White. I was out. We were out, bro. We didn't want anything to do with this dude. And what he stepped up and become this year is light years ahead of where I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was
like,
a lot to ask in retrospect for him to come in like that late in the season and really make any sort of meaningful playoff impact. I think that's tough, especially considering his game and how like you kind of do have to work around him a little bit. Not in a bad way, like just in a way of like you kind of have to let him run the game, right? So you kind of have to let him like do what he's going to do, but he's just like a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10 at everything. And he doesn't get exposed too badly on switches defensively either. He's a good defender. He's
good enough, at least. He's good enough to play opposite of Brogdon. Yeah,
he's got it. Yeah, they have a good 1-2 punch defensively too. I think he's got a good shot, and I just love that he can like put that floater up from like 10 feet out and it goes in, and you think it's going in. A lot of guys on this team this year like think stuff's going in all of a sudden, that where last year you might have thought maybe not. I think I include Smart in that. I'm like when Smart's stepping up in like big situations, I'm just a little bit less like gun shy than I was with him last year, but I get over that steadily the farther we get away from some of the things he did.
By the way,
just got here.
So it's noticeable their shooting percentage. At least I looked up Al Horford's last year, 33%, but 44% from 3 this year.
Yeah, and I will also say that's a good thing, because what I don't think we were last year was a team that beat you if we were shooting well, no matter what. I think that we sort of are now. I think that if we're not shooting well, we're not going to win a game. And I think that's been hard for people to sort of process, because it's like we used to have this identity where we'd say like, well, we can just dig it out. We can go do this. We can do that. But it doesn't really matter so much, because I think we're shooting well a lot. So, and maybe like you said, maybe the playoffs are going to be different. I mean, it starts to find you out, but it also starts to elevate you to the position that you're in. I think Derek White's going to be a big part of that. And I think his shooting percentage is up. So glad to have him. Well, 2 guys left. Jason Tatum. I'm going to give him an A-.
You read my mind.
I think he was, I'm beating him with the stick of his own standards here. Like the standards he set. Obviously, he's better than everybody else on the team, but we're grading our superstar here.
Yeah.
So he didn't overachieve like to the point he had set up our expectations to at the start of the season. So like he fell off a little. I'm not saying like, don't cut that and say I said Jason Tatum fell off.
Jason Tatum fell off, bro.
I'm just saying he set a really high bar. And then he dropped off that a little bit, and I think that does lower his grade just a little.
Yeah, I mean,
which is maybe unfair, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's definitely unfair, but I feel like it's because of, like you said, we're beating with the stick of his own success. Because when it comes down to what he showed us last year in the playoffs, I know the Warriors thing was different, but like I just had a mindset this year where he was gonna be in the finalist for that MVP. You know what I mean? And I didn't think there was any doubt about it. But the fact that he was in that race and he was fully entrenched in it, he was number 1 at one point for a few weeks. shows that, he definitely took a step back in the second half, which is exact opposite of what we wanted, because if Jason Tatum is going to be the guy we think he's going to be, he needs to be elevating at this time, and he needs to be taking games over.
Yeah, I'd rather he was. I'd rather
he
he had worse stats and was less involved in the MVP race, but was hot
agreed.
going into the playoffs than like the situation we're in right now. But I mean, who knows? Like you get a little fucking warm up game against the Heat or whatever, and we'll see how it goes. Of course, if we do play the Heat, we're definitely going to make that series look harder than it is.
I was just going to say, doesn't that, you just said that like off the cut, doesn't that make you nervous? As all hell.
No, I think
them in
we'll
the first
win
round.
the series. I just think it's going to be really annoying because the Heat are the Heat, but I also think they're garbage. Like I think they've gotten way worse, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I think the bottom of the East is so bad. Like the bottom, the play-in like area, like the Raptors fucking stink. We established that years ago. The fucking we established that with the fucking birth of the podcast. But we established
Red
that
Van Vliet.
fucking. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, but like that guy's 3 feet tall. Anyway, whatever. I think that the bottom of the East is the stinky bins. But lastly, but certainly not leastly, Grant Williams. He's played 77 games.
He started the most games on this team.
No, I jumped around with Derek Hauser.
Okay.
Derek Hauser. Derek White and Sam Hauser have both played more games than him, but we kind of transitioned into a conversation about those guys. So Grant Williams has played the third most games on the team, 77 games, 23 started, 26.2 minutes a game. In those 26 minutes, and I hate reading off stats. I hate reading off stats, but his are fucking damning. In those 26 minutes, he's averaging 8.3 points a game. What does he do if he doesn't score points? If he doesn't shoot threes that go in, if he doesn't, I didn't see. Is it? Well, when Grant goes out there, like he can really slow down Giannis. Giannis only had 56 points. He might have had 58 if Grant wasn't out there. Fucking get this guy out of here. Also, there is no greater sin than being a guy of Grant Williams' stature on a team and thinking that your stature is one that you can get a technical foul when we're still in with a chance to win a fucking game. And it's the last few minutes, like he did in that Sixers game. You got a T for bitching at the refs that you were fucking fouled. You don't get those calls. You don't get those calls, Grant. You might want them. I'm sure everybody wants them. You don't get them because you're Grant fucking Williams, okay? Get that through your weirdly shaped head. I cannot fucking deal with this guy anymore. He's trash. If he has meaningful playoff minutes in clutch situations, we are not raising a banner. I can't with this guy. I can't. Rob Williams needs to play so many minutes for me to not go insane. Anyway, that's all I got on Grant Williams. F-.
Yeah. So he gets an F- from me as well. I know Celtic Nation is going to hate on this because like Grant Williams has a fucking fan club within Celtic Nation for some reason. But
I'll bet he does. We talked about how stupid certain sections of every fan
that's
base
right. Yeah. The ones that are hating on Jaylen Brown.
We have Williams. The internet, my friend. We can go find people who believe anything.
You get an F- from me for trash talking against the Cavs in a huge game, saying, watch me make these 2 free throws. And then
so that was so embarrassing.
Not only did you miss one of them,
you bricked both, bro.
Bricked both of them.
You're making us look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, bro. That's a Dylan Brooks move. You know what I mean? Like that's a move of a dude who's just
because he believes, and I
he's
get
not in touch
it.
with reality, bro.
You want to have a high level of self-confidence as a top level athlete. I believe that you should. That's a good thing, but not like that though. Don't make yourself look stupid. You make yourself look stupid. You make us look stupid.
And I got to say, he was probably the only Celtic fan or person that was confident that he was going to hit both those free throws. And I know for a fact I was like, he's going to fucking miss these.
Can I tell you something? When I read his lips, it was really easy to read his lips when he was talking to Dylan Brooks. Or he wasn't talking to Dylan Brooks, but he was talking to the fucking Cavs team. Who was it that was it Mitchell that was talking?
I think it was Donovan. Yeah, I think it was Mitchell.
Yeah. Okay, so you're doing it to Donovan fucking Mitchell too?
Yeah.
Who you should like, come on, bro. Like, let's take everybody that's ever played in the National Basketball Association, right? If the top of the fucking mountain of list of guys that are good it is on the West Coast, Donovan Mitchell lives somewhere in Arizona. Okay, he lives somewhere in the kind of western part of the desert. I'm not saying he's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but if the farther west you go, the better of a player you were in the NBA. I'd give him like maybe like Utah. I don't know. He's around there somewhere. Grant, my friend, you live in Newfoundland. Okay, you don't live even on the East Coast. You live somewhere far, far away from where Donovan Mitchell's house of NBA talent is built. Okay, don't talk shit to him. And when I read his fucking lips, he was like, I'll make both. I'll make both. I was like, he's going to fucking miss both. He's going to miss both. I knew he was going to miss the first one. I would have bet my fucking mortgage on him missing the fucking first one. Like, get out of here. Don't talk shit to Donovan Mitchell, first of all. You're making us all look bad. There's like 4 guys on our team that could talk shit to Donovan Mitchell and it would be fine. You are not one of them. If Marcus Smart was doing it, I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, cool. Like, not you, dude. If Al Horford was doing it, I'd be like, yeah, you goddamn right. If Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, obviously. Grant Williams, don't talk shit to Donovan Mitchell, dude.
Even if Derek White was talking shit to Donovan Mitchell, I'd be like, hey, that's...
Come on, dude, it's Donovan Mitchell.
I don't know.
Chill out.
Yeah, I don't know if you're there yet. I don't know.
You know when, like, there's always a guy, probably because he's mad annoying, but you know the way there's, like, always a guy who's, like, not that good, and he's, like, there's always a highlight of him talking shit to LeBron James, like, once a season. You know, there's always, like, a Patrick Beverly talking shit to...
Or Lance Stevenson.
Or fucking who am I thinking of? Moncrief, I remember like talking shit to him. Like, it's like, no, yeah, it's like, dude, don't talk shit to LeBron James, please. You look so stupid. He's about to put you on ESPN. He still can. Anyway,
yeah, that was F- because of that. And honestly, I don't know.
Also, shades of like Draymond just being his dad throughout the whole fucking last year's playoffs, like just really being like, you can't be me. You're trying to be me. You can't be me. And I'm just like, he's right. He's fucking right. That's the problem. Yeah, it's not that he's just talking that shit. It's because Grant Williams shouldn't be in these fucking conversations with these players. He's not that level. Fucking 8 points a game.
Grant Williams should be the dude that is an automatic 6 fouls every time he's in because you put him in strictly to go out there and just use his body and
he had a good
push people
stretch.
around.
I mean, he had a good stretch. If we're being really honest, he had a good stretch. Probably
he had like a 3-week stretch in the season where he was,
and it was a really
excellent.
Good 3 weeks.
Right, excellent.
He had a really good few weeks at the end of last season and the start of the last year's playoffs. Probably 1.5 series.
What was his 3-point percentage this year?
He takes so many wide open looks too. Like I bet the advanced analytics are so bad. And like he lost a shot. He used to have like a sidestep pull up 3 and it's gone. He can't shoot. That doesn't drop. It doesn't drop for him anymore. So I can't with that fucking dude. Double F minus. Anyway, lastly, not leastly, I know I said Grant Williams, but we should grade Joe Mazzulla. I think he stepped into a tough spot. I do think he's a good coach. I just don't love his guard rotations. I really don't. I know I've been banging on him about this all season. I don't love his guard rotation. Despite sticking up for Marcus Smart this show. And I still don't, he's gotten a little better about timeouts, right? I do think he's gotten a little bit better.
He has.
I think someone said something, but I still am a little worried about big moment timeouts. And maybe he knew, maybe he was trying to let him play through stuff in the regular season and he actually does know how to do it, which might be 3D chess.
Possible.
I might like that.
It's possible.
I would give him like a B minus.
I'll give him a little more. I'll give him a B plus because of the situation he was coming into. And
context.
If you told me, right when you told me when Udoka left that we were still going to be a 2 seed, almost have 60 wins, and
I thought I was going to fuck the season up a whole lot worse. You're actually right. I amend my grade B plus. I'm thinking back to the start of the season, and it would have been worse
with the potential to go up to an A. If we get back to the finals, listen, right. I want to win really bad. I do.
The NBA finals counts for everything of your grade.
After everything that happened, if we can get back to the finals, and again, our head coach's first year, I think he has to get an A for the season.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like he's building on a finals appearance from last year.
I hope that happens. I'm happy to change the grade, sir.
Yeah. So the guard double big lineup, he's got to figure that shit out. Someone's got to talk to him about that because
can't do it with Smart in there. You really just can't. Smart can't bring the ball up if you're doing double bigs. You can't also I don't want Derek White to have 42 minutes in his legs. he can't play like that. Like he's at his best when he's playing like up to, I think, like 34 minutes, like maybe 32 minutes. I don't want him to have 40 minutes in his legs when he has to guard somebody in crunch time situation or make something happen. I think that's been a worry with this team. I do think that a lot of legs fall off like late. So I do think that some management is required here, but yeah, I'm worried about his rotations too. Last grade, Celtics Twitter, F-.
Yep, for sure. But we love you. Listen to our show.
But we love you. RTS, like our shit. Well, for myself, DK Sizzle, and the real BK Bob Kelly, we've done it once before, and we're doing it now, and I'm sure we'll do it again. Thank you so much for listening. Go Seas.
Hi, I'm Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. What did you do on your last Saturday night?
Did you hear something?
Toilet paper.
There's none. Nada. The reserves have gone dry. People are hoarding it. I should have done that.
They're all out of hand sanitizer at my Target.
Mark, when did you last watch the news?
We are getting reports of forced quarantines in China, Japan, and now Italy.
You're cutting onions in half and putting them around your apartment.
Yes, exactly. It kills the COVID.
Excuse me?
Let's go. Let's go. Get in.
Vamos, rápido.
Have you ever driven one of these?
Never.
I'll drive, ladies.
I've got the keys.
Excuse me, I'm lost. I'm looking for my wife. I got turned around.
Join me, Eric Roberts, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Ed Asner for The Last Saturday Night, an Electrocast podcast. You'll love it. Electrocast. Electrocast.